Do you struggle to maintain weight loss but desperately want to feel good in your own skin, confident in your clothes, and improve your overall health? If so, you're home. Hey, I'm Sam. I'm an elder millennial, dietitian, specialist in weight management, and former functioning fat girl. I learned how to win at weight loss by breaking free from diet culture PTSD. My mission is to marry the science with practical, real-life strategies because we all know if it's not realistic, it's not happening. Are you ready to ditch diet culture and learn how to win at weight loss? Grab your water bottle and let's go. Friends, are you stuck? Do you feel like a weight loss failure? Confused and frustrated by all the conflicting nutrition and weight loss information floating around the interwebs? You need a breakthrough session. I'm so happy to be offering a 1-hour, one-on-one coaching session that I called the Winning at Weight Loss Breakthrough Session. To win at weight loss is to not only lose the weight, but keep it off. This session is designed to break through all the nutrition noise and create a simple strategy customized just for you to start making progress on your BHAGs, your big, hairy, audacious goals. You don't want to miss out on this limited session. You'll receive a completely customized game plan designed just for you, the recording of our session to keep forever, and an accountability follow-up a week later to see how it's going. Go to bit.ly/win at weight loss now to book your session. I can't wait to meet you. That's bit.ly/win at weight loss now. Okay. Let's hop into today's episode. Well, hey everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the More Than a Number podcast. Today is part 2 of my conversation with the lovely ladies of the Her Healthy Body podcast, Coryn and Crysanne. If you missed part 1 in last week's episode, make sure you go back and listen to that one after. Trust me, you want to hear this whole conversation. But you don't need to have listened to the last one in order to enjoy this one. As a refresher, Coryn Brown and Crysanne Clay are a mother-daughter health coaching duo and the voices behind the Her Healthy Body podcast. With over 20 years of combined experience working with women both in person and online, they specialize in strength training, protein-focused nutrition, and helping women rebuild their health after years of diet culture and extremes, all while keeping God at the center of the journey. So let's do it. Here is part 2 of my chat with Coryn and Crysanne. All of my coaching programs are called Winning at Weight Loss, and they're called that because my definition of winning is being able to maintain the results that you're getting for the long haul, even when life is chaotic, as we were just saying. And Crysanne, I was listening to a very moving podcast episode of yours where you were super candid and, gave some really personal information about some, tough times that you're going through. You certainly do not need to share the specifics of what's going on, but I just think it's so relatable and inspiring to hear how people manage through those tough times. It can be so easy to just say, like, the heck with this, give me all the pizza and French fries, or in your case, not eat, because that is your way of control. So can you share a little bit about, how you've been able to continue to manage and prioritize your health during the season?
Sure. Yeah, it's been a recent season, and it's hard not to cry because it was a lot. And I am an open book, so I'll keep it real short because I could go into a lot. But the basis of it, it started a few years ago. My husband of 28 years just decided he don't want to be married anymore. And it wasn't a thing coming. You know how sometimes you can see something coming? It was absolutely shocking to everybody. At the same time, actually, my father was diagnosed with cancer and took his life within 6 months. And I was going through that at the same time. So my 2 biggest heroes in my life were gone from me. Like it was so hard. And at the same time, I moved, built 2 homes, moved 4 times. And we had a scandalous thing happen in both sides of our family, like scandalous. So when it rained, girl, it poured. It poured. And I had a faith. I would say that I was pretty good in it, but not real strong. But that is the thing that I can say helped everything, was turning to God. You'd have to be superhuman to be able to put up with some traumatic things that happen like that in your life. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there with trauma that could relate with that. So I could have went one way and I could have been mad at God. I could have. But I had, thank God, a basis of faith, thanks to my parents and my mom. And that basis of faith, instead of running from it, I leaned into it. And I could not, I think God gave me superhuman power to get through it, because
He did.
honestly, you did. Because yeah, you're right. The first thing on my mind is just never eat. I literally, when you're so rejected, like I felt it when I wanted to, not to get too deep, but if I don't eat, maybe I'll just get sick and die. Like those thoughts go through your head when you're that devastated and that traumatized and you lost so much. But it was during prayer. I literally had a warmth come over me, and I had literally in front of me Jesus saying, "Go home," because at the time I was living in Florida. "Go home. You're going to be okay. Go home." And I could not, no matter how much my husband begged me to stay there or whatever, I was like, no. I got the word to go home. And as soon as I got home, my daughter was trying to get pregnant for 4 months. And as soon as
4 years.
4 years, oh my gosh, sorry, 4 years. And as soon as I got home, she's like, "Well, I'm glad you decided to come home because I'm pregnant." And I just looked up at God like, yeah, I'm not leaving. I'm here. I'm staying here. He can work out his problems down there, do whatever he needs to do. So that first gave me peace, because I was like, okay, I want to walk in God's way, because, you know, the going deeper in my faith, I realized I don't know everything, for my life. I don't. And sometimes we have to go through things to show us things. And I think God lets suffering happen, particularly to us, to make us grow. Well, it can make us go backwards. I could have turned to alcohol. I could have turned to drugs to numb myself, because that's all I wanted to do. Or I can lean into it and consent to it, which was the first step of healing, and saying, okay, God, you allowed all this to happen in my life. Why? You have a reason, and I may not understand that reason, but you have a reason, and I'm going to trust you. So I'm going to walk strong. I'm going to walk in the light of, you are going to take care of this, and you have a purpose for it, and help me grow through it. With that attitude, it's also with the whole, like, me starving myself, because that's what I could have gone to, or I could have gone to drugs or alcohol. I think having the basic education of what is happening in my body really helped at that situation, because I knew I was traumatized with stress and I wasn't sleeping. And I knew if I were to not eat, or if I were to do the drugs and alcohol, that would just only make all that stress worse. And I needed to dive into, and that's where I went. I just dove into, okay, I'm going through this stress and I'm going to deal with it as good as I can with God's help, which literally made me feel supernatural in it. I am also going to do everything that I can to combat the stress. And knowing my body and knowing my hormones and having a general understanding of all that is where that played a role of, I'm not going to starve myself. I'm not going to turn to drugs and alcohol. My whole goal became, I need to sleep. And everything I did in my day was going to dictate that, no matter what happened in that day. And I can tell you, there's some days where you start off, you're good, and then, some tragic thing happens, and, he says something, or, the divorce is coming up, or, it just, but I just stay steady in that I know what's happening to my body. And I think the education of just understanding the body made the biggest difference for me.
That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
That was a lot. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
Go
thank you for
on.
sharing. You're in my prayers,
Thank
honestly.
you.
I can't even imagine, but I I agree, and that's why I say, like, he did give you supernatural powers. That is the Holy Spirit within you.
Hmm.
And I think it might be the hardest decision that we ever make is to lean in and turn to him instead of reaching for something else to numb. So I just think that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
And he lets you see the fruits too, sometimes if you do that. The
Yes.
fruits is this one standing next to me.
Yes.
She has watched me go through this and she's grown in her faith. And I'm like, you know what, God, if it took that, getting my family to come to you, I'll do it all over again for you. So yeah, he lets you see the fruits of it too sometimes. And I would go through it again knowing where it brought her.
I love that. And yes, that was exactly what I was just going to ask because Corinne, I was listening to one of the episodes and you guys were talking about how you kind of are like newer in your faith and you have seen your mom go through this and turn to him. And I love how you guys put it on one of your episodes that you need to invite God into your health and your weight journey. So, can you talk a little bit about your journey and how it's going and how that has really like changed your perspective on your body image and all of that?
Yeah, for sure. So seeing her go through all of that, I just saw instead of it breaking her down, she got so much stronger. And it was kind of like just a light bulb in my head of like, what you're doing is right. And I want to be able to, and God forbid anything were to happen in my life, I want to be able to handle it just as amazing as she did. Because we know that we're all going to go through hard times. So I looked at it at that as like, help me be stronger with this. And then I realized, and I was asking God, like, can you start taking away the things that I'm idolizing right now? Just take them away, take the want of that away, because I was struggling on social media, just trying to grow my business, just putting myself out there 24/7. I'm obsessed with my body. I mean, I'm telling women like, you do this for your health, but then I'm constantly mirror checking and weighing out every single thing that I'm eating. And I just felt like a total imposter. And he was showing me just little signs. Like I'd be reading a book and it's telling me, just how awful social media is for us, for comparison, for even just like being a role model for my daughter. Like there was just little signs here and there that I was seeing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to you, and I'm gonna keep praying to take this want away because I wanted to, grow my following. I wanted to be successful, and I just started saying like, I don't want that anymore. I just want to be healthy. I want to serve the women that come to us and not make this about me anymore. And when I did that, things started to drastically change in my life. I was not worried about what the scale said anymore. I was trying to be a better role model for my daughter. I think motherhood also really put into perspective for me. Like, if I'm going to struggle with my body, that's the last thing I want my daughter Sophia seeing. And started to model really those healthy habits for her. And I'm still growing. I was just telling her the other day, I was like, 2 years ago, I like looking back now, I've come so far, but I feel like I still have so much further to go with this. But it is cool looking back to see my journey so far and how God can take away your idols. And when you put Him first, so many good things in your life can happen.
Amen. Absolutely. I think that, like in my faith walk and in my journey, one of the biggest revelations for me was realizing that this isn't my body, this is his body, it's his temple. And so I want to respect it. But I don't know if you guys are familiar with Lisa Whittle, but she has written a bunch of different Bible studies. And I have a core group of Bible study gals from my church that, we get together and we'll do Bible studies together or even just read like a book, together. And we take walks and it's great. And so Lisa Whittle has this Bible study called Body and Soul. It's so amazing. And What was like wild was just this last week we had Easter, which is Resurrection Sunday, and the chapter that we were on in Body and Soul literally like dives deep into the crucifixion itself, and she really shows like another level of how our physical bodies are so precious because he literally sacrificed and gave up his physical body for ours. And it was so moving to me that it just kind of puts a whole other layer on that. What I struggle with the most, I think, is the self-talk because I can sit in my, little like corner where I do my prayers in the morning and stuff and surrender it. And I give you this body, I give you everything that I put in this body. And then, like you said, you walk past the mirror and it's like, oh my God, look at my thighs. Like, what is going on? Where did that roll come from? Like, what's happening here? So, how do you think? But I have definitely, I mean, I have seen the growth in myself and like definitely seen the changes in myself. And I can tell when I am really spending the time with God, how I'm treating myself versus if I'm, being a little lax and like not doing my Bible time and my, my time with God. So have you noticed changes in your own self-talk? How has that changed or not changed since you did invite God into your journey?
So self-talk is probably, I think we have to give ourselves
I
grace.
think we all do it.
Yeah, we all do. And I think you can, like you said, when you walk past, and I do this, I self-check in the mirror constantly. I don't get on the scale, because that could definitely be a trigger for me. But I think you can allow that and be like, you said it, it's okay. But when you invite God into this journey, He's going to show you what is important and what is not. The world, and the reason I was thinking of your the person that you talked to that talked about chaos and peace this morning, he's looking at himself in the world's view. We're never enough. We are never enough. We are always comparing ourselves with the best of the best. And that's what's in front of us all the time, isn't it? With the internet and, just the world. Even if you don't open up the internet and you just walk through the mall, look at look at all the models on the walls. I mean, you do it. You're going to do it. And if you are rooted in God's purpose, and that's one of the things that we love to talk with our clients about, is your purpose through God, and getting yourself out of how the world thinks is important, what the world thinks is important. Because if you think being loved by everybody, which is impossible, do you think being successful, always successful in your job, money, that all these things, they become idols. Like Coryn was saying, she idolized her followers and everything that she wanted to do. She made that her idol. Everything that we make our idol, we end up despising because God told us to put Him first, make Him the idol. So if you are idolizing something, you're never going to have peace. You're always going to have chaos if you're idolizing things of the world. If you put Him first, like you said, you do it in the morning. That's putting Him first, right? That's the first thing I did in the morning. But then if you I did that check off list and not live the life, then you're going to have chaos again. So it's not enough to just read the scripture and take it in and be like, that was good. You literally need to pray about everything all day long and bring it to Him. Trust me, if you have a soft heart that's open, like He always says, you're not going to enter the kingdom unless you have a heart of a child. That's what that means. Like, let Him talk to your heart, because we let the world harden our hearts, so we don't let Him in. Let Him talk to your heart. If you openly do it, and I watched this with my daughter, she opened her heart, she made it soft, and she searched. And that is all He is asking us to do. It's very, very simple steps. I know a lot of people, I know myself. People would say to me, growing up, I grew up in a Christian home, and my mom, I'd have a hard time at school, and she'd be like, give it to God. I'm like, he's not here. He's not seeing it. Like, don't just tell me to give it to God. We have to know what God wants, and we just have to search him and have a soft heart. And when we do that, we're going to find our purpose. Your purpose is bigger than anything else of your body. Your purpose to him in life. So God put you on earth for a purpose, put me on earth for a purpose. I'm searching that. Is it that I walk past the mirror and look good in a bikini? I don't think so. He wants me to be happy. He does. He does. He does want us to be happy here. I'm not saying you don't have to give up your dreams of wanting to look beautiful. That is not something he wants you to give up, because like you said, this is his temple. He made everything in his image and likeness, and he is pure love and beauty. So it's okay to have those thoughts. It's okay to want that. But when you put it before his purpose, that's where I remain, and that's how I can walk past the mirror, and if not happy with it, I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I might be disappointed in myself, but it's okay. I know each step and every day, and that's another thing, stay in the day, in the present. Don't look in the future. Don't worry about the past. Stay in the present, do his will for that day, and your day just will go a lot easier.
Oh, ladies, we're so aligned in so many ways. I think that, even as far as like getting into the nutrition aspect of it and more of like the details of kind of how you coach your clients and how to eat and everything. I have to admit, I do have some patients that refer to me as a protein pusher. And I am proud to be a protein pusher because I think it is very important, especially I do work for a bariatric program at a hospital. So after weight loss surgery, even more so, protein is so important. But people can get really burnt out on it. And before I get to the final wrap up, Corinne, I have to tell you, I'm stealing your term. On one of the episodes, I literally was giggling so hard because you kept talking about the protein ick. And I was like, oh my God, that's hysterical. I am stealing that. I don't know if you came up with it. I don't care. I'm taking it and I'm using it. So I know there are people listening to this that are like, yeah, high protein, eat more protein. Tell us what the protein ick is and how we can either avoid it or recover from it.
Oh, the protein ick. Everyone goes through it who is starting to eat more protein. The craze right now, high protein, is everywhere. Like, this is the new keto. And I'll be honest, I am here for it. This is finally something that is healthy. However, a lot of people aren't used to eating protein. So they start and they get grossed out by it. Like, I mean, I can just name a couple of my friends that, like, they'll start eating their eggs. They're like, ugh, I can't protein egg. Like, I can't eat any more of that. So, with the protein ick and how to avoid it, I would say it's changing up your proteins and not eating some like one protein and a lot of it. So for example, like for breakfast, it's usually hard to eat more protein for breakfast because there's so many different options for breakfast that are more like pastries that are very high in carbs and sugar, and usually people want something sweet in the morning. So when you look at Amy Lou chicken sausage patties and you see that you have to eat six of them just to get around like 30 some grams of protein, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. Hence, you get the protein like because you're just like, I can't even stomach this anymore. Protein is very satiating to the body, especially if you're not used to it either. So a lot of people are going to get full a lot faster on it. So just for breakfast, for example, what I usually tell our clients is let's have a different variety of proteins for yourself. So this can still taste good. You're enjoying it and you're not just trying to like get this chicken down and feel like you're going to throw up from it. So, it can be maybe let's do two sausages and let's have some Greek yogurt with a little bit of protein granola in it. You're getting that variety, you're getting different textures, but you're still getting the protein and you're hitting it. And it doesn't feel like I have to just always focus on centering every single meal around protein and just getting sick of it and not want to do it anymore.
Yes, love that so much. We want to avoid the protein ick for sure. This conversation has been so rich. I really have loved every minute of it. I would love for you guys both to kind of share if you could talk to your teenage self. I don't know if you guys are on like all the socials or whatever, but there's a reel going around now that's really popular that is like you write a letter to yourself from a younger age, to your younger self. So if you could talk to the you that was in the throes of the worst part, I guess you would say, of your health journey and your weight journey, what would you tell her?
Oof. I didn't know that was going around. You could tell we're not on social media. Have you heard this? I haven't heard this. I always say, and I always told Coryn this, if I can go back and tell teenage Crysanne, I would never restrict. I would never go on a diet. I would tell her, you need to, if you want to look beautiful, and as a teenager, that's what we want, we just want to look beautiful. You need to maintain your muscle because literally, and I heard this from Dr. Vonda Wright, which I love, but she said the muscle is the Spanx of the body. You want to look good. I know, so good, right? And if that's what my teenage self was searching at the time, it was, yeah, I would say, build muscle, maintain muscle, never go on a diet, don't restrict, and you find your purpose in God. That's what I would tell my teenage self for sure.
Yeah. To add to that, this doesn't have to be hard. I think we all think that we have to eat all the bland foods and punish our bodies and work out a ton in order to see these results. And all that did was actually make me heavier. All that did was make my relationship with food so much worse. And it stinks because all of this stuff works in the beginning. So then we just think, this is the answer. This is what we have to do. And then our bodies are very, very smart and they will adapt to whatever you do. And they're going to rebel to what you're doing if they don't like it. And this isn't supposed to be difficult. We're actually supposed to love eating healthy and we're supposed to love moving our body because it's how we feel our best. And that's how we can be the best moms, employees, wives. Like it's without our health, we couldn't do anything and we couldn't even live out God's purpose for us. So
wait, one more thing. This is huge. No, this is huge. I didn't even think of this. Stay away from processed foods as much as possible. Eat real foods. That is so, if there was anything that we can all do right away that will make the biggest shift in our health, get away from these packaged foods. And let me tell you, the 80s and 90s, that was all about that. Yeah. So that's another thing I would walk away from.
Snackwell's cookie queen over here. Oh my goodness. Yes. So if winning at weight loss is lasting weight loss and being able to maintain very quickly, what do you wish more women knew about lasting weight loss? Would it be the stay away from processed foods?
I would say that is definitely processed foods and protein at every meal.
Yeah. And if we could be more focused on it as a society as a whole of building muscle instead of focusing on the scale, it would change so much.
Love that. Thank you so much, ladies. This was awesome. I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Didn't I tell you would love them? I will link all of their contact information in the show notes, but Coryn and Crysanne's Her Healthy Body podcast can be found on all podcast platforms, and you can find them over on Instagram at her.healthy.body or their website, herhealthybody.co. Their email address is team@herhealthybody.co, and their Facebook community is Her Healthy Body. Thanks again to these amazing women for spending time with us. What a blessing this conversation has been. As always, I love you. God loves you. Have a beautiful week. Hey friend, I hope you feel empowered by this episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share it with another friend who needs it? Also, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. Your reviews are what helps it get seen by more people who need it. Okay, Time to go show up for myself, and I hope you do the same. I'll meet you back here next week for another episode. Have a blessed day.